Welcome to the Nature Center Show. I'm Kayla Perkins, and today we're going to talk about the focus of the month for October, which is bats. There's a lot of crazy myths out there that bats are bad, that they suck your blood or fly into your hair or are going to give you horrible diseases. And the truth is, they're not going to suck your blood unless you're livestock and you live in Mexico or South America. They're not going to fly into your hair unless you have one and try to throw it into your hair. They use echolocation to know where they are, and they're going to try to avoid people. They don't like to bump into things. Also, as far as diseases go, you're not going to get any diseases from bats unless you go pick one up and start playing with it. Bats rarely carry diseases, and when they do, they try to isolate themselves from the rest of the colony. If you want to see some real-life bats that are flying around and doing their job, you can go to Foster Road Bridge. We've got a small colony of hundreds of thousands of bats that are really impressive to watch whenever they come out to go foraging for food. Their food source are insects. Now, they're really good for our ecosystem here in Texas because whenever our farmers have plants that they're trying to grow for profit, the insects like to eat their produce, like to eat their plants and their crops. Well, if these bats come out and they're eating all of those insects, they're really helping the farmers so that they don't have to use as many pesticides. The ones that live under Foster Bridge are free-tail bats, and if you want to go check them out, you've got to get out there quick because it's starting to get colder. As it gets colder in the fall, the bats are going to migrate towards the southern part of Texas because they want to follow the insects where they're going. And you don't ever find insects in the cool weather because they can't handle it. They're cold-blooded and they like to go south also. The way bats find all their insects and other food sources are by using their echolocation. Now, that's a way that they use different chirps and sounds at really high frequencies to bounce sound off of objects. So if I'm standing in a room, kind of like when you play Marco Polo, I guess, at the swimming pool. If someone has their eyes closed and you hear Marco and you say polo, they're supposed to say it back to you. That's kind of what bats do. They use that as a way to figure out where they are in a building or out in the wild to avoid power lines or airplanes or windmills or anything like that. They use echolocation to avoid objects and not fly into them, and to find their food. Now, not all bats eat insects though. Some eat nectar, some eat blood, some eat fish. Some bats eat other small animals like frogs or toads or snakes or scorpions or centipedes. Some bats also eat fruit. That being said about the fruit, there's two major types of bats. There's megachiropterans and microchiropterans. Megachiropterans are large bats that eat mainly fruit. So flying foxes, you can tell that there's just a few of them, but they're very, very large bats. The other group of the microchiropterans, they have so many bats. Every single bat under the sun is under that group. Most bats that you're going to see are microchiropterans. Now, they're called chiropterans because chiroptera means hand wing. Hand, they fly with their hands. So instead of a bird who flies with their arms and they kind of flap their wings, bats use their hands and they flap their wings really fast. So whenever you watch a bat flying overhead, their flight pattern is going to be really scattered and uneven. A bird has a very smooth flight pattern because they can catch the air, catch the wind, and get lift off of that. Bats have to use their hands the whole time. Bats are nocturnal. They're awake only at nighttime, and that's so that they can collect all the prey that they need to. A few more other things about bats. Some people ask how long bats live. Some bats live up to 32 years, and that's the little brown bat of North America. Now, if you want to come out to the Nature Center sometime, we have a small bat cave for all the kids to look around here. We've got a bat cave, a bat skeleton, a bat that's frozen in some kind of a gel that you can look at to see the up-close bat. We also have a bat fossil, so you can see how long bats have been around. Thanks for coming by the Nature Center Show.